All right, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Building Digital Marketing Skills and Career Opportunities with Facebook Blueprint, talking a little bit deeper into Educators Portal. We thank you all for joining today, and we know that there will be a couple guests that will be joining in as time goes on. But to begin today, I wanted to go ahead and introduce our two guest speakers today who will be speaking to today's topic. We have Annika Mankey, and then we also have Marlene Castro. I'll leave it to both of them to explain a little bit about their roles and what they do. But thank you, ladies, for this today, and I'm sure that today is going to be a really great presentation. So we're excited that you're all here joining us, and I'm going to over to both Annika and Marlene.
Yes, thank you so much, Lauren. And hello, everyone. Hello to our participants joining. We really want to thank Lauren and Michael Connet and the ACTE team for allowing us this time to speak with ACTE community and educators. We know that the start of this new school year looks very different. And so we wanted to come in and support with resources for educators as you enter this new school year, whether you are already teaching remotely or teaching in person. We want to help educators come closer together around topics that are important for their learners, one of those being digital marketing skills. So our mission at Facebook is to give people the power to build community and bring the world closer together through our platforms and tools. And so through today's session, we hope to provide the community of ACTE educators and leaders with valuable resources so that you can teach more about digital marketing skills with your learners through our platforms and tools. And you'll also get to hear from an educator herself and how she leveraged this content from our resource in her courses with her learners. So we're going to go ahead and kick off with some introductions. So I will let Annika go ahead and introduce herself.
Hello, I'm so glad to be here on today with Marlene and share with you guys a little bit about the Facebook Blueprint and what that offers. I'm the Business Education Division Vice President for ACTE, and I'm also an instructor and program director for accounting and business management at the Mitchell Technical College in South Dakota. And so I'm just going to be sharing a little bit later the things that I did with my class and how I incorporated some of the things this spring.
Thank you so much, Annika, for sharing all that wisdom with us throughout the presentation. To quickly do an intro of myself, as Lauren mentioned, my name is Marlene Castro, and I am a program manager at Facebook under Education Partnerships. I approach my work at Facebook from my own background as a secondary classroom teacher, a technology teacher trainer, as well as a nonprofit leader helping to build scalable solutions for supporting youth to build knowledge, skills, and mindsets to access college and career opportunities. I also am a first generation high school and college graduate in my family, so education is a very important avenue for me. And as I support work with youth around visioning and designing learning experiences that help them create opportunities through education. So today we are very excited to have you all join us. And so we are going to take a journey around these topics. So we just covered our intros and we're going to kick off, both Annika and I will share why we think it's important to decide to support marketing skill pathways, and particularly frame why Facebook is investing in creating resources for educators around this. And then I'll dive deep into 4 components that building digital marketing skills in our program offers through our content and certifications. And you'll be able to take advantage of these resources today. And then Annika will spotlight an example of how she's been able to incorporate and integrate this content into her course. And then we'll end with some Q&A and next steps around how to take advantage of these resources today. So that is our journey. So why support digital marketing skills pathways? In this graph here, you'll start to see how the growth of digital advertising has transformed the ecosystem that students are entering into around careers that are growing in this field. Internet usage has grown fast over the past few decades, and advertising dollars have followed. Globally, more than $250 billion is spent on advertising on the internet, which now surpasses spending on TV, and access to mobile devices has accelerated that growth. So in the meantime, newspapers and magazines have seen large declines. And for marketers and advertisers, this shift is dramatic, and it's changed the landscape and has profoundly changed their profession. So now digital marketing is different. There are new platforms, new advertising forms, new technologies, and new ways to measure success. So we need to prepare our students for this new ecosystem and arm them with knowledge and skills they need to be successful in this new space. And typically Facebook supported learning in this new ecosystem for big clients and agencies that did marketing, but we now see the larger demand is to provide this same sort of learning and training to educators and students entering these fields. And so we wanted to create and support audiences to get more access to this information. And we also see the demand through job growth. There is a fast growth in digital advertising spending and jobs emerging. In fact, according to the US Government Bureau of Labor and Statistics, there's about a 10% growth in jobs in advertising and marketing. And unfortunately, companies are struggling to fill these new jobs as they are finding that there's a shortage of people with skills in digital marketing. Jobs in marketing are attractive with a median pay of over $132,000 a year, but unfortunately, training is not as accessible to many. And this is where this program comes in. I'll let Annika go ahead and share a little bit about why supporting digital skills marketing pathway is important for her as an educator.
Okay, so I teach at Mitchell Technical College and in South Dakota, and we have a lot of small businesses, a lot of family businesses, and we have a lot of businesses around the area that have actually started out just by advertising on Facebook first, and then ended up opening up stores and having websites and do those kind of things. And so when we look at the idea of understanding how the algorithms work, how you can tell how many people have seen it, those are the kinds of things that the businesses need to know. They don't know. They think they see the social marketing and they don't understand exactly how to do it behind, but they know it's going to benefit them. A lot of them look to the younger students for this. They think, oh, you're 20, you know how to do this. Most students don't. They know how to use it, but they don't know how to use the back end side of it to really see how it could benefit a business. And I've also seen where students are kind of hired because they have the skill and this knowledge. It's something that a lot of times we talk about for our students, and I'm sure it's in a lot of areas across the US, when you have small companies, oh, you majored in business management, so you can handle all this stuff. Oh, and you know social media, you can take care of that for us. And so it gets them a step in the door and allows them to further their career. I've also seen how digital marketing during the whole COVID quarantine, like March through May, really helped a couple businesses here in Mitchell. We actually had one that I know because it's one of my good friends from college's mother-in-law, but she has a decor business and she has a lot of flowers and house decor, and people aren't really doing that. So they went to Facebook and they started advertising how to put flower arrangements together, things like that. And then they would do these classes on Facebook Live, and they would send out so people could buy and send out what they were going to be putting together, and then they'd get on this class. And they had people from all over buying those packets, and that they'd mail them out to them and then have these little classes. So it just shows the power of what happens with that. The other side of it is the career side, and I see this as being very essential for a lot of young kids that are coming out of school, having that skill. There's a lot of small companies that maybe cannot hire a single person who does it. Marlene kind of talked about the fact that they used to do this a lot with big companies, huge companies, but we have a lot of small businesses out there that are like, we know we need to use digital marketing. We don't understand it. How can we use it effectively? This is where I would call it kind of a consulting career, where maybe, a student could start their own business, and then they may have 5, 6, 7, 8 companies that they run their digital marketing for. There's some bigger companies that already do this kind of thing, but I foresee it also being able for a student or a young person to be able to start a business that way if they're very efficient in it. We have a young lady in the community I live in that kind of picked this up on her side, and that's exactly what she does. She has made a very big career running certain businesses' social media, and looking and talking about the whole digital marketing that we're going to talk about. So I'm really excited that Facebook is putting this out there for all of us, and that we just start seeing that increased importance of making sure kids have these skills that deal with digital marketing.
Thank you so much, Annika. So Reaching educators like Annika is top priority for us, and we do this across a spectrum of what we call higher education, and it starts at career technical education in secondary spaces. So wanting to reach educators to provide them with content experiences for them and their students that reflects the type of classes that you teach. And suited to the appropriate level. We also know that in the CTE and community college space in this country, about 60% of students who are attending these learning communities are from minority backgrounds. And so reaching students who are underrepresented with career development opportunities is also key for us. So I'll highlight now what basically our big goals are and then dive into what exactly are the components of this program. So first, again, is educators. You'll hear me say that a lot. We know that reaching educators means reaching their learners. And so equipping educators with the most current, accessible, and relevant content on behalf of Facebook is important. Given that we are one of the largest platforms in the digital marketing space, we want to ensure that you have access to content that is continuously updated, relieving you of the burden of having to audit and update your own content to keep pace with this rapidly changing space. Second, Facebook wants to support learners from all backgrounds to seek employment and advance their careers through certification. So this content prepares students for the Facebook Digital Marketing Associate certification that students can take after going through the content. This enables your students to give them an opportunity to provide proof of their newly acquired skills to employers. And finally, Facebook supports career launching opportunities for your learners, helping to build the connection with agencies, digital native companies, small businesses, as Annika mentioned, and other companies in search of qualified and diverse talent in digital marketing. So let's talk about the 4 components that you can take advantage of after today's session. So really, we have 4 offerings for you today. One is around the actual content that exists on an exclusive educators portal just for you, and it is free and accessible to sign up and get access to this content. Next is self-serve online content that is accessible to students, educators to learn at their own pace and prep them for certification. Third is the actual associate's level certification itself. And then fourth is how we are connecting learners to jobs. So I'll be diving deep into all of these. Or giving you an overview of all of these, but I will dive deep mostly into our first component, which is the actual content. And Annika will be able to share a deep dive as well as to how she's utilized this content in her classroom. So let's start with component 1. So first thing to note about the portal is that the content that exists on this portal was actually developed with experienced educators coming from these institutions. So we talked to the business marketing professors and instructors from different schools, from high school to university level, to develop content that can help teachers prepare students for digital marketing roles. The program was piloted in different schools by over 1,000 educators, and Facebook is constantly seeking the feedback to continue to improve this content. What does the content look like? You'll see on this little laptop image here, this is what the educator portal homepage looks like. There is small bite-sized content. It also provides a comprehensive set of just free educational resources and instructional materials. We have about 28 lessons that introduce concepts that can be integrated into broader lessons. And then each lesson module includes the materials that you would need, from exercises to downloadable guides, for you to be able to teach the curriculum. To take a quick look, broad strokes about how these 28 lessons are encompassed into 6 topics. So topics covered are taking learners through the basics of digital marketing. It's meant to prepare students for roles in social media marketing, and it helps them to learn how to use the Facebook platform tools. Given the important role that Facebook plays in online advertising, employers who hire social media marketers have expressed the need for candidates to have some level of the practical knowledge of how our platforms like Facebook and Instagram advertising work. The program covers topics from the evolution of digital marketing to then the use of data in online advertising, tactics to engage and build an audience on Facebook and Instagram, and creating what it takes to start a career in digital marketing. You'll also notice that we have this advanced content circle towards the bottom right. This was created because we really want to cover the whole spectrum of educators, from CTE right through MBA content. So we have these graduate level modules that all educators can really take on and provide to their students. in measurement and attribution in marketing, as well as a case study that looks at a mattress company that is going direct to consumer, which you may have heard of, called Purple. So this content is really open source for you to go in and grab. The other content opportunity that we have, which is really relevant to this time, is a remote learning resource called the Virtual Classroom. Instead of just taking these 28 lessons around these topics and plug and play, you could take on a suggested 10-week course that we have called the Virtual Classroom. And these are laid out and packaged ready for you to take on in sequence. So the material includes 10 presentations for you to download to guide synchronous class sessions online. And there are also screencasts of the different lessons for students to consume at their own pace. We hope this resource can help if you are in a remote learning now and looking for a unit plan for your learners perhaps, or even if you are in an in-person classroom, this package course can also provide you an outline of how you can sequence the content and introduce these topics to your students. So what we have seen the benefits for educators around this content so far is, and you'll hear me say this a lot, with the practical and up-to-date industry knowledge that this content provides because it's coming from Facebook. And we are also constantly listening to educators about how to continue to improve the practicality of the content. Second, we also think that this many of you will have your own curriculum. So this program is built in a modular way such that you can use it to enrich your existing curriculum. The content has examples, case studies, and projects. And so it allows you to add a more practical perspective for students with the industry relevant content. For students, the benefits that we've seen in their learning journey is that we've heard the desire expressed by students around the world for more courses focused on digital media, and this program enables you to provide this to your students. It will also provide them with the opportunity to participate in a hands-on practice program that prepares them for the professional world. And this program lets students build up a portfolio of work as they go through the different modules that they can later share with potential employers or future clients as they complete the exercises. And then we also thought about this program with employers in mind. So finally, as Facebook, we want to help support employers in the digital marketing space and fill that jobs opportunity gap I explained at the beginning. And so the research has explained that employers struggle to find diverse talent in digital marketing from varied backgrounds and experiences. So all employers want to find people who understand digital marketing, but who also have some practical experience in how to use tools like Facebook and our ads platform for marketing. They're specifically looking for people who have the know-how and can work with the relevant products. So by giving you access to quality education materials and digital marketing at scale, we hope that not only will students thrive by improving their skills and expertise in this field, but also employers, including small local businesses, will benefit from a more diverse pipeline of future employees. And lastly, as I mentioned, the way that we've built in gathering feedback from educators is right into the portal. You'll see a red circle around this little envelope icon right on your portal when you sign in. And this is a direct feedback loop that we've built into the portal for you to share your thoughts and insights and experiences as you teach the content, as you even scan through the outlines of the content that's covered, being able to share with us, hey, we think this is missing, or hey, my students really enjoyed this lesson, can we get more like this? So we really are invested in improving this content as we continue to learn more about how this content resonates for both educators and learners. So now that I've given the broad strokes of the content itself and what exists on the educators portal, I wanted to do a quick dive into what looking through the portal and what resources are available to you as an educator as you look through a module, for example. So if I took module 11, which is the topic on online safety and privacy, this is how it would show up in your educator's portal. So as you log on, you'd be able to see your menu bar at the top. And as I mentioned, there is that envelope icon, which is really the feedback opportunity built in. And then the additional resources tab I'll cover shortly, but it's where you'll find more information. I know that I'm in my account because I see my icon up above. And then as I scroll through, the content is laid out in multiple ways. I can explore by unit, and then I can see the 10-week virtual classroom and distance learning opportunities as well, right on my homepage, along with that advanced learner content I mentioned. So if I want to find module 11, I can go ahead and explore by unit. I also have these filter categories on my portal to try to find lessons that are plug and play for my curriculum needs. But I know that I'm looking for online safety and privacy, so I'm going to go ahead and click into this module here. Now I see that this module is made up of 3 lessons. So I can teach these lessons in sequence, and as I teach them, you'll see the blue check marks appear on the right-hand part of the icon, or I can also just plug and play. Right now, I think one of the biggest things my students may want to learn is about managing my online reputation, so I'm going to go ahead and click into that. You'll see that right away, it provides me with what are the objectives I'm going to cover in this module, and at what level this is appropriate for. Typically, all of our content right now is at the associate beginner level. And then right away, even before I begin clicking any download links, I can preview the slides just through this little section here, this window. So I can use this down arrow here or next arrow, and it'll start showing me the slides that come with this presentation. I can also download right away via Google Drive the actual presentation slides. Then I have speaker notes to show me the key points I may want to hit across each of these slides and topics, and then to download an exercise worksheet that comes with this module. It'll open up a Google Doc, which I can just save to my drive right away or print as a PDF to share with my students. This particular one is a take-home assignment exercise. It gives students exactly what the directions are and how they'll answer, and it even provides the educator with a rubric for how students will score based on those objectives that we saw earlier at the start of the module. So that's a deep dive into the content. So we completed part 1. The last remaining 3 components of the educational opportunity here really build on what you can do with the content. So let's jump into what that looks like with number 2, the online content for students. So for students, Facebook provides this large library of e-learning content material, about 6 hours worth. So the whole experience can be a blended learning experience. You can take what's on the educator's portal and then what's located at this URL of facebook.com/business/learn to find even more video tutorials. This section of content is even more important, and you'll find it in that briefcase icon as well in your educator's portal that I pointed out earlier, because it's where students will find the most relevant certification exam prep resources for students who are interested in taking the certification exam. So that is the online content. Next is the certifications in digital marketing. So we actually have multiple certifications that Facebook offers, and we believe industry certification is a process of demonstrating competency. We want students to be able to go to employers and actually have LinkedIn badges that demonstrate and prove the knowledge and skills that they've been building around digital marketing skills. So each of these certifications are available to learners. The content that we are talking about today really prepares them for the digital marketing associate, so that first circle on the top left there. So learners can progress to other professional certifications as well. And as they complete the certification exam, they can then apply for this badge to appear on their LinkedIn profiles. In addition, the additional resources section on the portal, so again, that little briefcase icon there, you can find more information for your students on the certification process. The certification itself is proctored by Pearson, and we are also looking for ways to actually enable educators to be able to proctor their own set of students into the future. The certification currently costs $99. However, we've piloted a scholarship voucher program to cover the cost of certification for students and are looking to expand that program into the near future as well. So educators who are signed up for the portal will be among the first to know once that opportunity relaunches, so that students will be able to have access to this funding opportunity and take away that cost prohibitive barrier. And then lastly, learning all of this content and taking these certifications, we want to close the loop and say we also can connect these learners to jobs. So connecting your learners to opportunities that take on the investment of learning and time that they took to go through this content with you or by themselves to take the certification, and then connect them to opportunities with some of our agencies, because these jobs are in high demand and skills are in high demand. So at entry level, you can actually more than double your salary premium at 110% with an associate certification in social media marketing. So we want to build this pipeline by creating the partnerships with clients like the ones listed here as an example, support learners through the program of getting certified, and then creating a resume pool so that those who are certified can enter this pool to be hired by employer partners. So those are our 4 components. So to recap, we want educators to have new content that they can integrate and adapt to support their remote or in-person teaching and give students a more practical experience. We want students to get a chance to go deeper into the material by using self-serve e-learning courses. Then students can show and test their newly acquired skills through the Facebook Digital Marketing Associate Certificate. And then the complete package by the end is to help students with employment opportunities in digital marketing. So now to speak us through how they integrated the content is Annika. She will share, I'm really excited to hand the mic over to her so that she will be sharing how she has utilized this content to teach lessons on online privacy and safety to her business law students.
Hello, I was first introduced to this curriculum at Vision last year and signed up to be one of the tryout people. And so I had access to some of it. And I didn't know for sure what I was going to do, how I was going to do it, those kind of things, until we went online. So we were in my business law class. We do a unit on computer crimes and businesses, how that affects them. Is ever changing. Every year it's something different. New laws are coming out. There's obviously new technology that's coming out. And so I try to find something that is very relevant for them to understand and to know, plus stuff that is up to date. So I was looking through the modules and I found module 11, online safety and privacy, to be the one that would probably fit most in with what we're talking about at this time. I always talk a little bit about individual online privacy during this computer crimes or cyber security crimes section, because it all kind of goes together. I mean, there's a lot of things that personally businesses have to worry about, the same things, reputations, those kind of things all fall into that amount. So as I stated before, I teach at a technical college. My students were a mixture of traditional and non-traditional. Most of them were 18, 19 years old. I had a few that were in their 30s. And so when we went online, I decided not to have our students go online and do the online side of it. I just wanted to pull out the things in module 11. And that's what I like about this so much, is because you can just pull out what you need, and that's it. So I downloaded the PowerPoints and downloaded the worksheets. We use GINSBAR instead of a lot of colleges and technical schools or community colleges use Blackboard, but we use GINSBAR, which is our LMS. And so I actually just built everything into that. I didn't want our students at the time to have to go to 2 different places. It was one of those things where we just went online. They are face-to-face students. I didn't want to make anything too hard or confusing for them at the time. So using the PowerPoint for a lecture, I just kind of, again, we're a Microsoft school, so we have a stream on PowerPoint. And so I just streamed it, voice over my voice, my notes, things that I would have said to the students, recorded it, and then I put it in stream and put that link right into our LMS. Students were able to do that. They were able to look at it, go through it as many times as they wanted to, as in video format. And then they were able to go and do the assignments. And I kind of built the assignments into our LMS also, which was nice because then again, they didn't have to go to several different places. I just took the assignment that was there, and instead of just uploading a PDF, I just kind of typed it out, what the assignment was for them to do, and did the same thing with the quiz. My students really enjoyed this. Actually, first of all, some of them were freaked out when they started thinking about online privacy and reputation and all those kind of things. And so that was part of it, but they really enjoyed doing it and saw the relevance of it. Things were up to date, stuff that is happening right now, and that was a nice part too that was done. The best part is that these modules can be used with any classes. And I'm going to say that because as you look at each of the different modules that they have, You may teach an intro to business class that touches a little bit of marketing, and maybe you just want to do some type of intro to digital marketing. And there's a session, there's a module that would work for that, or a lesson that would work for that. If you teach a social media class, maybe you want to do the whole thing. I've also found that a lot of it fits into the different classes that I teach. I teach an e-commerce class. And this e-commerce class I teach, we don't build websites, we don't talk about that stuff, but we learn about this stuff behind the website, all the data mining, how do they use data to measure performance. We talk about ads, we talk about stickiness, you know, how long are they staying in certain places. And so one section of it does talk about Facebook ads and, well, all social media ads, but it does a little bit more of a focus on Facebook ads. So this year I'm really excited to use Module 8, which is measuring ad performance within that course. Because then they can actually go out and see some data, and they can see how it works. Right now, what I do is I manage our South Dakota Association of Career and Technical Education Facebook page, and I'll just go to the insights on that page and say, hey, this is what it looks like, this is what they're talking about, those kind of things. But this will actually allow the kids hands-on to go in there and to actually experiment with that stuff themselves and see it. I know there's our media communications instructor is also going to use a part of it in her course this fall, as we were talking about it, and she signed up and she's really excited about that also. I don't know, I mean, we're going to be hopefully face-to-face all year, but we're starting out face-to-face, and so, you know, that it'd be an easy transition to go online also. And I just feel that, you know, Facebook has tried so hard to create a curriculum that is helpful for us, and I think they really accomplished that. So I'll turn it back over to Marlene.
Amazing. Okay. Yes. Thank you so much, Annika. And we do have a question from Francine. Hey, Francine. She asked, do I understand that there is a lesson/section on data analytics? Yes, there is. Mm-hmm. It's actually built into a couple of topics, so you'll find it embedded, but there is an actual, both in the advanced module section content, there is the measurement and attribution one, and then even within the more beginner level content, there is modules on data analytics. So that puts us into the perfect segue, Francine, into Q&A. So at this time, we'd love to take your questions via the Q&A chat function here through Zoom. And as your questions roll in, I will start sharing really what our next steps are here, just to jog your memory around the opportunity. I'm going to come back to the slide. So really, to sign into our educators portal is your first next step. This is where you can just sign in and access all the content right away for free. And you can either use this QR code here or go to this website link here. And then to continue helping to inform our offerings. If you think that as you, again, scroll through the content and see something missing, see something you'd like to see more of, you can email me directly and consider me a point of contact. Annika, I did not put your email address on here, I'm realizing, but I'm sure maybe I know you have a page on the ACTE website, but we can, I'm sure if you wanted to speak and deep dive into how Annika used some of this content, she'd be happy to answer any questions.
Definitely.
Says, yeah, thank you. Is this webinar going to be available publicly to share with colleagues? I think, Lauren, if you're still on, do you want to answer that question?
Unmute, but yes, we're recording it now, and we will have that published for everybody.
Great.
And the link to that and things are going to be coming out in my newsletter that comes out in the next week or so. So you might have to search all over ACTE for that, but yeah, we'll definitely get it out there to help people.
Yes, exactly. And in that newsletter too, we'll be sharing the link again to the portal, and then the certificate, like where to see all the certifications and the self-serve content as well. Okay, so to go back to one quick slide that I skipped over, and I see this other question coming in, but I also wanted to point you all to Aside from the digital marketing skills content that I presented on, some people asked, like, what else does Facebook offer in terms of education? I wanted to point you all to our education.fb.com website. We do have a resources for online learning hub that was launched right around March, right when the kind of pandemic and impact on educational institutions started to happen. And there will be an update version on this very soon to kind of align with how just the world has shifted and how we're now going back to school. But if you are interested in understanding, like, are there computer science programs, what other types of support for educators, and how are educators using Facebook and Instagram to really stay connected during this time, you can go ahead and search on here as well. But I will go back to this next step slide here and answer some more questions.
Yeah, we have a couple questions on there. I think they're kind of questions for you.
Yeah, totally. Okay, so from Dave, do I need to have a Facebook account to access the resources? Yes, great question. And the answer is yes. The portal will prompt you to log on using via Facebook. You know, you may have seen this, and like even when you log in through Spotify or other apps, sometimes it says log in with Facebook. It's a very similar journey to sign on there. However, we know that educators often want to keep the email address associated with a Facebook account separate than their educator signups that they utilize. And so there is the opportunity to actually go in after you create the account using your Facebook account. You can go into your icon at the top right, and that has account settings where you can actually change your email address to your institution email address, for example, so that you can separate those accounts.
And that's what I did, because I like having all my education stuff coming to the emails coming to my school account. And it was very easy to do.
Love it. Thank you, Annika. Yeah. All right, from Mike. So am I right to say that each student could individually log into this as well? Would the teacher have the student use a code to connect with the teacher/class? How would a teacher assess what the student has completed? Great question. So to start at the top. So right now the educators portal is for educators. So technically students aren't going into the educators portal one to access that content, because it'd be like looking at your kind of unit plans for your curriculum, right? So we're not giving students the access to the curriculum book necessarily, and you would provide them, as I kind of demonstrated, the exercise Google Doc that you could download, for example, for module 11. You could share that directly with them, like you can make a copy and give them the exercise handout, but the portal itself, the main audience is for educators. In terms of the second component that I shared, which was that facebook.com/business/learn, or let me just go back to it real quick. But that online content students are able to access via that website there. So I'll just go back to which one I'm referring to here. So that one students would be able to access through this website right there. So no code to connect with the teacher/class. And the last part, how would a teacher assess? Really, it's by exercise and by module content. And there are those rubrics that guide you on how to score the exercises and worksheets. And there's no built-in LMS at the moment for the portal. Like you can't go in and input grades per module or anything. But I really love that question, and figuring out a way for our team to build that in is actually spot on, and I will absolutely bring that feedback. And that's the type of things we want to hear, like teachers being able to track, educators being able to track on the portal itself, I think makes total sense and would be very valuable. Thanks for your question, Mike. And then Francine, how far off is the initiative for the badge scholarships? How far off? I think, Francine, your question might be, oh, I see, like how far into the future, because I mentioned it would be relaunching. Not that far off. We actually hope to possibly launch this fall quarter semester with a new initiative for how students would be able to apply for these badge scholarships. And so, we will, ACTE is one of our main partners, and so ACTE community will be among the first to know when we relaunch that. So no confirmed date yet, but very soon. And then a question from Genevieve. When will the info about scholarship opportunities for the certification come out? Are the opportunities for a class or for individuals? Great question. I think I just answered it with Francine's, but in terms of the opportunity being for a class or for individuals, that is a great question. I would say if we are looking for educators, if educators are looking for like a good majority of more than 50% of a class taking on the certification journey together, I would say that's where my email inbox is open. Let's chat about a partnership opportunity to understand how we could best equip your half your class, entire class to take on the certification journey, because we've done that with our pilot partners. And so we are open to conversations with other partners who want to take on maybe just a more formal learning lift and provide the opportunities for those students to take the certification with the scholarship. So I will put my email address back on. Great. Awesome. Thank you, Genevieve. Great. Awesome. So as I mentioned, we hope that you'll take the next steps of signing up for the portal and checking out the content. Please reach out. Again, my email address and inbox is open. And then I know Annika is also open to hearing from you all. And if there are no other questions, then we can get some time back on our calendars. And we're excited about how you'll take on this journey with your learners to build digital marketing skills with our platforms and tools. And so the last thing that we ask you to do before you jump off today is we'd very much like to hear what you liked and what is top of mind for you through this quick Zoom poll. So there's 4 quick questions to answer just around like, how likely would you recommend this topic and information presented? And just what is top of mind for you as you enter this academic year? So we'd very much appreciate any feedback you have to share. And thank you all so much for attending today.